Hey girl, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Maya Marie, and if you're new to the channel, I do DIY everything beauty. And today I'll be giving you the step-by-step DIY behind the hairline closure sew down.
Wow.
Full disclaimer for transparency, this video is just about the sew down part. I didn't get clips for laying down the glue, putting the cap on, flat ironing, so this is strictly about how to secure your closure with a needle and thread and make it lay flat and neat. Now I had those other clips but they deleted, so we won't talk about it. If you would like a full tutorial on the entire hairstyle, I do have a video. I'll link it in the description box below. Let's get into it because I'm already late. I put my mesh cap on. You can also use an HD wig cap. You can use a net, but this is more beginner friendly. I then take my closure and I place it on where exactly I want it to be on my head. I bobby pin it down. I make sure that it's nice and tight, but don't really have to worry about it being too flat because what we're doing is we're just outlining. So I took some white eyeshadow. You can use whatever you have that's safe for the hair. So some white eyeliner. And you just trace around the perimeter of your closure. So this is what is going to guide us when we sew it down. Step 2, threading the needle. So once you've taken your closure off carefully, you grab your needle and thread. Tip for the beginners if you don't know. So all you need to do is thread that needle through the thread. I know the hole is really small, so it's going to take a few tries. Be patient with yourself. If you need to lick the end, do what you need to do. I then pull the thread all the way down as long as I can because you don't want it to be too short. You're then going to have to keep threading new needles while you're doing the process of putting your closure down. It's pretty tedious. So then secure a knot at the end. You want this to stay put as you sew around the perimeter. Step 3, we're going to actually sew down the perimeter where we put that white line. Just follow your white marks and make sure the stitches are even. What you're seeing me doing right now is a double knot. So basically wrap the thread around the needle 2 times before you pull it out. And so I'm going to do the double knot, I'd say every 2 to 3 sewings. It really just depends on how tight and secure you want it. So I'm going to do this around my whole head. And since this is DIY, it's really hard to sew around the entire head. So what I do is I start on the corner of my head, like you see me doing now, and I go straight back as far as possible to the back of my head. I cut the thread, double knot it, and then start on the other end of my head and go all the way around. And you'll see me doing this when I actually lay my closure as well. Anytime you want to end, whether you're trying to start in a new spot, whether your thread got too short, you're going to cut it with your scissors, leave enough space so that you're able to double knot it. And then cut it again, make sure it's like, really short so you can't see that thread anymore. And that's it. That's how you end. Step 4, we are checking that perimeter. So after you've sewn the perimeter down, pull up that mesh cap. Check your work, girl. You see any gaps, you see any holes, you see anywhere you need to go back and fix? If not, take your scissors, cut along the middle part where you just sewed, and this opens up the area for your next steps. I'm doing a middle part closure, so I don't want any of that net showing. So that's why I'm cutting right here, so it's only my part that you'll see. You won't see any of that net. I want you and need you to be, Step 5, we are positioning our closure and securing it with bobby pins. So place your closure back on your head and clip it in the same place as before when we were trying to outline our perimeter. Make sure that it's tight this time. Tight and flat, because this is the sew down part that we are about to get into. So we want it to be snug so our stitches will hold and lay flat. Step 6, the fun part, sewing down the sides. Only the sides, not the front of your closure. So grab your threaded needle and start at one corner of your head and sew along the perimeter, going all the way to the back. Double knot where you feel is needed. Like I said before, double knotting is when you tie the thread 2 times around the needle and then you pull so that it's tight and secure. Also, like I said before, since this is DIY, just go to the back of your head and then cut it, double knot, and start on the other side of your head. Take your time with this process. Make sure that you're pulling your closure as you're sewing down so that it stays tight. As you can see, before every threading, I pull my lace to make sure it's flat, and I use my fingers to hold it down while I'm sewing it down, because I cannot express anymore that this needs to be tight and this needs to be flat.
Never going back. They never take me. I've been enough of petty dudes. I've had enough of shitty news. I had a thing for dirty shoes.
Then start on the other side and go all the way back as well to meet where you finished the last stitchings. Keep your stitches neat, tight, and even.
Never hearing what they say. Ooh, ooh, I just do it my way. God, there's these broken clouds. I ain't got no time, just burning their life.
In step 7, we are sewing the front. So for the front section, start on, I started in the middle. You can start on one side. I honestly did both, you'll see. But I start in the middle, and I make sure that I'm grabbing a little bit of that closure underneath, not above, underneath. Grab a little bit of that closure, and then of course scoop up some hair while you're putting that needle through. And I'm still going to do that double knot method where I loop it around the needle 2 times before I pull, because in the front especially you want it to be tight. Also, be aware where you are placing your lace in the front. You do not want to sew down on the edge of that closure. You're going to pull it, you're going to break it, it's just not going to be fun. So I would say go back not even an entire centimeter of that lace part. Just make sure it's not at the front. So when you're done, you should have a little flap hanging up. And that's where you apply your glue and you take your lace band and make sure that it melts for a few minutes. But that's why you don't want your closure to rip. Pro tip for beginners, make sure the needle goes downward through the closure and the braid. That keeps it close to your head and prevents any gaps. Double knot the ends and wrap the thread for extra security, because accuracy is key. Sloppy stitches will show. As mentioned earlier, you can start on the edge and work your way towards the middle like I'm doing here. Make sure the edges are really tight, so if you need to do 2 or 3 stitchings in one spot, that's okay. And that's it. That's the last part of the sew down part. Again, if you need the full tutorial, I got you, description box below. Thanks for watching. Bye!